Hi everybody, I'm Jeanine. I'm also a founder of the Rally for America Tea Party, and I wanted to tag on to what so many people here have said. Sheila, you're right, we're not in America anymore, okay? And we have to realize, going back even to what Paul said, it has to do with regulation. Regulations that are 100%, 200% unconstitutional. Go back. I'm preaching to the choir here, folks. There needs to be more people here. Look at the Constitution. Look at the limits of government and what they are not supposed to do versus what they are supposed to do. They are using these regulations in our private lives, in businesses, not only to raise revenue, but to control us. Because statists cannot control a free and mobile person. All right, now I wanted to tag on to what Paul said as far as small business, because I had a very interesting experience last week. It shows how not only, again, to raise revenue, but to harass and ultimately drive small business out of this country. See, the government knows. They say they regulate everybody, but they're not really enforcing regulations on the crony capitalists, the bigwig CEOs like Jeffrey Immelt, who can trade billions of dollars in return for political influence. They're going to leave them alone because they need their capital. They know that probably 90% of this country is run on the engines of freedom and upward mobility that is brought about by small business. We can't have that in a statist country. So this is their aim, to drive small business out of existence. This way we have more people dependent on the nanny state. The example I wanted to bring to you, last week I hired a company to re-side my house. It happens that the contracting crew, the small business independent contractors that they used to do the job, came from New Jersey. About halfway through the job, I was talking to the independent contractor who owned the business. And a gentleman named George, I wish he could have been here today, and he mentioned to me, he said, you know, New Jersey is so hungry for cash that they have launched an all-out assault against small businesses, and they are especially targeting businesses like mine where we have to commute to our job sites. He said they have put the law enforcement officials on notice, especially right here over the border in Montvale. They are to pull over every contracting van that they see, and they are going to go over it in the name of regulations with a fine-tooth comb and look for as many ways to issue summonses as possible. To illustrate his point, George reached into his van and produced for me 16 separate summonses. 16 that he amassed over the course of 2 days of traveling to my house. I said to him, what the heck did you possibly do to amass this number of violations? Were you speeding? Did you at least give him a reason to pull you over? He said, of course not. He pulled me over, and one by one he was ticking off these summonses. A summons for having commercial license plates, but he didn't have his name on the van. A summons for not having rear seat belts for his rear seat adult passengers, his fellow workers. Another summons for having a very thick, wide red ribbon on his external ladder instead of a red flag. And it went on and on. I could not believe it. And he said to me, it's not only me. Now I have to lose a day of my work. I have to go and sit in a courtroom to fight this. And guess who's my company there? All my fellow contractors, all there to fight the same stuff. And as George spoke to me, I got the feeling more and more that he's not really going to be looking to keep New Jersey as his home base anymore. Now, what do you think is going to happen to all his employees when he pulls up stakes and moves his business to a more business-friendly state? This is what's happening here, New Jersey, all across the nation, because that is their aim, to drive us out of our small businesses and make us dependent on the nanny state. People, we need more. You're educated. We need to wake up the rest of our populace, or we are going to lose this nation. Thank you for your time.